Hey, this is Finley. Finley's Cammie, my daughter, and she's now my sister because she gave her life to Jesus about a month ago. And so, Finley, have you prayed to give your life to Jesus?
Yes.
Are you going to follow him for the rest of your life?
Yes.
No matter what?
Yeah.
Even when boys come?
Even when boys come?
Yes.
Well, because you have professed Jesus publicly, I baptize you, my daughter, my sister, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Cool. Hey, I hope you liked that intro to a Worship Catalyst update. My favorite, of course, of all time, that one was. And back in June, Finley had the opportunity of giving her life to Jesus, and she did that. And so to baptize her just a few weeks ago was really one of our highlights of our lives. So thanks for watching that. And we wanted to come to you, as always, from sunny southern Arizona for our Worship Catalyst update. It is September 2011, and wanted to give you a little bit of the activity that you are making possible through your prayers and through your gifts. So wanted to just start off by showing you a magazine here. This is Portraits Magazine. And Cammie and Finley and I got to be on the cover of that. This is the Southern Baptist Convention monthly magazine that goes out for Arizona. And why did they pick us for that? It's because the whole magazine that month was, or that, I guess, 2 months period, was devoted to discipleship. And they have been kind of paying attention and monitoring the discipling that we've been doing of worship leaders across the state and beyond that. And so they wanted to interview us and just kind of see what we were doing. And I talked to them about how the main method that we're using for that right now, or the main tool, is this Worship Leader Essentials that I've been talking about. This is a 7-week process that we walk worship leaders through, not just like the point, worship leaders that hold the microphone and sing, but also guitar players and drummers and, actors and technologists and anybody involved in the worship leading process, even pastors. And right now, there's 20, I think more than 20 worship leaders that we're walking through this process right now. And it's going to be great because it represents 10 different churches, and they can then push it in through their teams, and then hopefully that's the basis of setting up hubs in new cities, is that they would have a tool that they could train their worship leaders with. I want to talk about 3 of the different churches that we are spending some time with right now. One of them is called Legacy Church. Legacy Church is a church in Tucson, and they're about 18 months old. They have a service that they do on the weekends and a band that they have, and they're kind of at a place where they feel like they want to get to the next level of their effectiveness. And so a couple of things that we're doing with them. One of them is I'm taking their entire team through this Essentials process. And in addition to that, what we're doing is we are trying to identify what some of the people on their teams' real gifts are, what their real passions are, so that they can work within those gifts. One thing that we have found out and just kind of come to a realization of is that there's a difference between, this seems simple, but it took a while for us to come to it. There's a difference between a church that has somebody that is actually on staff as a music or worship or creative arts person versus a church that's brand new and has a whole group of volunteers. And so instead of piling all of the responsibilities of leadership on one person, we're trying to figure out how's the best way to split that up among a lot of different people to where they can be really effective at spiritual development and be really effective at relational development and worship leading and planning and all those kinds of things. And so they're one of 4 churches that we're working with right now to go through that process. Another church is Springs. Springs is a church in Marana, Arizona. We've talked to you a little bit about that, and they just had their opening weekend just a couple of weekends ago, and we're able to see 55 or 60 people show up for that, and a lot of people they didn't know. And they did a carnival just the day before where they had several hundred people come to that. So they're starting to make an impact in their community. Justin Howard, one of our Worship Catalyst team members, is really running point on building that band and helping them start and get off on the right foot. And hopefully we'll be able to turn that over to them completely before too long. And then there's Renaissance Church. Renaissance Church is a church in Las Vegas, and I got to spend some time with them. You're watching some video there. They have never had a band before. They lead their music with CD tracks, and so they had some musicians start to rise up, and so we spent a weekend working with them and training them. And you see Ben Lunn there. Ben is the guy doing some of the training there with the glasses. Ben is one of our team members in Las Vegas and a really great guy, and is going to be continuing to work with them as well as some other churches along the way. Now, there's way more in the future to talk about. We've got more hubs we want to talk about and more opportunities for us to serve in various churches. But what I wanted to do for the rest of our update this time is I wanted to introduce you to a good friend of ours. And her name is Nicole Palos. Nicole is a drummer, but that's not who she really is. She just happens to play the drums. Nicole's a great friend that we connected with from the very early stages of moving to Tucson, Arizona. So I just wanted to talk a little bit to Nicole, get you to meet her, okay? So Nicole, let me ask you just kind of general question. How long have you lived in the area, where you're from, and maybe where you go to college?
Okay. All right, I was born and raised in Tucson. I moved to Cerrito when I was about 7 or 8 years old, so I've been here quite a while. I currently go to Grand Canyon University online, and I do that while I work.
Okay. Now, Nicole is a drummer, really, really good drummer. And she's been, how long have you played?
Oh, I don't even know.
Okay, so there you go. She has played for a while. And Nicole has played drums in a lot of different churches, but how is it that we got connected through Worship Catalyst?
I think the first time we met, I was playing in a youth room at my old youth group, and you walked in and you listened and you said, "Hey, you're gonna come play at church," or "Hey, come to practice."
Is that what it was?
That was what it was.
All right. Well, I'm glad that worked out. That's so pretty early on. Nicole started to get better and better and better at drums because she wasn't an all-star at the time, right?
No, I was really, really bad.
kind of a beginner, but we needed a drummer to help out, and so started to get to know Nicole. Now, since then, Nicole is like super available to help out, and so Nicole, how many churches? Just ballpark, do you think that you've played for in the last, 3 years?
I would say 15, I think.
There's no way you've only played for 15 churches.
I think it's multiple times.
I was going to say you played for maybe 25 different churches. 25? I bet it is. But,
I've never counted.
But if you add all those times up, how many times do you think you've played drums for churches across Tucson?
150, maybe?
150 times. I wouldn't be surprised if it was way more than that. And that's not all at one church. I mean, that's across the board, playing all over the place. And, these people out here that watch these videos, they appreciate you because they know that churches are desperate for people that will come and serve and help. And Nicole's also done some training. She's also developing and helping other worship leaders get better at what they do, helping other drummers get better at what they do. So that's been a really good thing that you have given us, and we want to say thank you for your service. And it's not over. I mean, we got way more to go. But the next thing I want to kind of ask, though, is that we have received so much from you. Let me just ask, I mean, how has your life been affected by being a part of Worship Catalyst?
That's a loaded question. That's hard. That's a lot. Personally, since you guys have moved here and started Worship Catalyst, I've probably never been so invested in my life between like you and Cammie and Mike and Karen and just everyone involved. So that's been huge for like my personal growth, like spiritually. Also, like right around the time you guys came here, I was struggling with a call to ministry. I didn't know exactly where I fit or how that could work, and I think Worship Catalyst has given me focus because, I mean, I've always had a heart for serving. I love church plants now. Like, I could not imagine going anywhere other than a church plant, and I love being able to invest in that. So it's definitely helped me focus how I want to live my life. There's way more.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. You know, there's been a lot of times where Nicole and I have gotten in a car with a group of people or whatever, and we've literally played 4 times in a row, you know, in different places. And so why do you do that? Why do you do that? I mean, a lot of people wouldn't give that much of themselves. Why do you do that?
I give that much of myself probably because Christ gave so much for me, and that you guys give a lot to me. And I just like, you know, going forward and doing that.
That's cool. Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for being a part. And for those of you watching this, just there's there's a lot of people that are giving a lot of their time and energy and effort to what's going on here. And because of what you do, you make possible these opportunities for people to serve and to help churches all around the world, really, but locally here especially. So God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.